I want to talk to you a little bit about the organ itself. We have had some issues with it, and some of you know that we've been raising money, and we've had a lot of generous donors giving to the organ fund, and so we've started work on the organ. I signed a letter last week, and actually didn't anticipate anything happening so quickly, but I got a call on Monday, and they said, well, we've got a window of time when we can actually work on the organ. So the workmen appeared on Tuesday and spent about 4 hours here and dismantled part of it and took it back to their studio near Nashville. So part of the organ is no longer with us. So it should come back new and improved, hopefully in a week or two. So let me just talk to you a little bit about what was going on. And Scott is going to be advancing slides for me while I talk. Behind us here, behind these pipes, which these are just for show, they are not sounding at all, but behind us there are two little rooms, and the size of those rooms probably is generous, but they're about 10 feet by 10 feet. Maybe a little bit smaller, but smaller than a bedroom, but larger than a walk-in closet. And they are filled with pipes. All right, so we're going to start this left room up here. And those pipes are on the lower keyboard. So I've got two keyboards here on the organ. And these pipes are operated from that lower keyboard. So when you open the door, you just see row after row of pipes. And they're packed in there pretty well. All right, so in the next slide, what we'll see is another view, but a little slightly different angle, just more of the same, those pipes that you see going in the door. All right, and then on the next slide, we get a close-up, and these are the smallest pipes on the organ, and it's hard to see, get any kind of perspective there, but these right in front here are about the size of a pencil. So just a regular writing pencil, they're about, above that wood piece there, 8 to 10 inches, and about as big around as a pencil. And those are your highest notes on the organ, and those big ones that you see in the background, those are lower notes. Okay, and then the next slide is going to show a different angle, and these are just more pipes in that chamber that you can't see when you first go in, but they are around to the side. But as you can see, there are some that are metal and some that are wood, and so the different sounds are made by the different type of material as well as the shape of the pipe. Okay, I don't know if you can see very well or not, but at the top of some of these silver pipes, there's a shiny collar at the top. All right, that's what's used to tune the pipe, so that can slide up and down, so that'll make the pipe longer or shorter. And when the tuner comes, that's what he's adjusting. He's moving those little collars up and down to make sure that the notes are in tune. Okay. The next slide shows the chimes. The chimes are actually right behind these pipes that we have here to your left. Okay, and then the next slide is going to show one of the things that we were having a problem with. These are the shades that control the volume. And I've got a pedal down here that I can move, and it's supposed to open and close these shades. Well, part of the leather in the mechanism had deteriorated so that they wouldn't close properly. In the right-hand picture, I'm actually holding it shut so I can get a picture. But you see them fully open on the left and then fully closed on the right. So that's the volume control. Okay? But as I said, they took out the machine that operates that, and they took that back with them. And so it'll come back, and then that'll work like it never has before. All right, we're going to move now to the right side. Okay? And these are the pipes that are operated by the upper keyboard here. And we've got these large wooden pipes. They're actually pedal pipes. And those have been a problem. And I'll get to that in a minute or two as we continue to talk. All right, so the next slide is going to just show how pretty the wood is, and you can see the different sizes of the pipes. And I'll just call your attention to the little knobs at the top. Those are like little plungers, and they go up and down, and that's what the tuner uses to tune the wood pipes. So it's like a little stopper that goes up and down. All right, the next slide is going to show the bottom of those pipes, and they are sitting on a chest. And the workmen actually opened that chest and took all the inside stuff out. There are magnets in there. There are leather pouches that go for each one there's one for each one of those pipes. And so they took out 44 pouches that have to be re-leathered, and they'll come back to us. New leather on them. All right, the next slide shows that empty chest. So that was filled with mechanism, and they took all that out. So those pipes weren't working anyway, so we're not missing them today, but hopefully in the future I'll get to let you hear what they sound like. All right, the next slide is going to show some of the metal pipes in there, and I don't know, maybe you had little flute kind of toys when you were little. My brother and I did, and they had little holes that you could put your fingers on and make, different pitches. But right behind the piece where you blew, there was a little opening, and pipes in the organ had that same kind of opening, and you can see those there toward the bottom of each one of those pipes. And the air comes through there, and when it hits the top part of that hole, it vibrates, and that's what makes the sound in the pipe. All right, the next slide is going to show some of the larger pipes also in this chamber to your right. And then the next slide shows the trumpet pipes. And last month I talked about the trumpets. They look a little different at the bottom than the other pipes, but anyway, they are, the sound is made a different way. It's made by vibrating metal rather than a vibrating column of air. And some of these are actually so long that they bend, so they've got a bend in there. So if you were in the band, you remember some instruments are kind of bent, like saxophones and trumpets and trombones. So they can bend organ pipes, do the same sort of thing. All right, then our next slide shows the, actually where it all starts. That's the blower, and that is a big old, it's about 4 feet tall, and that gives the wind for all the pipes. And then the next slide shows the bellows, and the wind goes from the blower into the bellows, and then it's distributed to all the pipes. I've got two pictures here. The one on the left shows what the bellows look like with the organ off, and right here you'll see these two black lines. Okay, so the lid is down on the rest of the chest there, and then whenever the organ is turned on, the bellows fill up, and you can see those black lines are separated there. So the air goes in, there are springs on the bellows, and also some weights to help make sure that the pressure is even as it comes out. So, all right, so there's a little bit of an overview of the organ, what you don't see. And so the work that's being done is on the pedal division, the flute pipes there, the wood pipes, all the workings have been taken out, they're being reconstructed, and they'll come back and be reinserted, and those will work again. And then the volume control for the lower manual, which is in the left side. So they did work in both sides. So we're looking forward to getting all that done, and this is our first phase. And so now just a couple of comments about the rest of the program. Oh, there's something else. They did take out a piece out of the console here. There's an electrical issue in the console, so they had to take one of the circuit boards with them, which is about a 4x4 square with a lot of solid state. So it goes back to transistor radio era. So it's got capacitors and transistors and resistors on it. So it's got all these little cute little buttons and things on it. So I've lost a whole octave. So the notes won't play. So